to the C432 Park Avenue Offshore Investors Deferred Distribution Update Call. Today's conference is being recorded. At this time, I would like to turn the conference over to Joel Paré. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Joel Paré, Head of Private Equity and Real Estate Product Management, and today I'm joined by Jeff Locke, Head of Americas Real Estate, and Naveen Bankstoda, Head of PERE Fund Administration. So today we're going to be talking about the C432 Park Avenue Offshore Feeder Fund Deferred Distribution. So an announcement went out on Tuesday to everybody, and that announcement contained an internal notice, and then attached to that was the frequently asked questions, or talking points, and then along with that was a copy of the client notice that was going out informing investors in the offshore feeder fund that distributions will be deferred in the near term. That investor notice then went out on Wednesday to everyone, so some of your clients may have seen this, and today we want to just host a call to give you the chance to ask any questions. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jeff, who's going to give an update on the project itself.
Perfect. Thanks, Joel, and good morning or good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to give a quick project update. I know there was a manager call on December 22nd, but in terms of the 432 Park project, as you know, construction completion is largely complete. The retail parcel was pre-sold in 2014 and was transferred over to the retail purchaser last year. Construction financing was paid off at the end of Q1 2016, so at this time the project is unencumbered with any debt. In terms of the sales for the project, as you know and as you've been reading in the press and per our past notices regarding the New York residential luxury market, the market remains quite challenging. One, due to increased supply in the market. Two, regarding economic uncertainty. And three, the recent strength of the U.S. dollar is causing some headwinds regarding luxury condominiums in the market. For the project itself, 69 of the 106 units are closed or pre-sold. 8 units of those 69 units are expected to close in the next few weeks. And regarding the project and sales, SIM actively continues to be focused on the sales of the remaining units. Regarding the recent communications that Joel mentioned, and as per the PPM, the offshore tax structuring for investors through the blocker entity will retain all future distributions until a plan of liquidation is adopted. Without this liquidation plan, any further distributions would have negative tax consequences to investors. So based on continued discussions with SIM and outside tax counsel, we expect the plan of liquidation to be adopted in the second half of 2017 and distributions to investors to occur at that point. Please note that this is an IRR impact and not an impact to the net equity multiple of invested capital. And with that, I'll turn it over to Naveen to highlight some of the more technical aspects of the blocker.
Thanks, Jeff. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So as Jeff mentioned, as of now, we are flooding all future distributions related to C432 Offshore Feeder Fund, and this is done really to mitigate substantial additional tax costs to foreign investors. As you could see in the talking points we have outlined, there could be almost about 30% additional tax if we do not follow this tax strategy to hold these future distributions. I do want to mention that there is no impact to previous distributions that the offshore feeder fund had made to the investors. As you could see in the client letter that was sent out yesterday, the feeder fund distributed about 83.6% of distributions of total commitment. As Jeff mentioned, we are working with our tax advisors and outside counsel on a map to put a liquidation plan in place. I do want to highlight that is subject to all of the market conditions and depending on when the last unit of the last unit sold at the underlying project level. And then the retention of, as Jeff mentioned, the retention of the proceeds will not have an impact on the multiple of capital. It's only a impact to the IRR as we are holding back certain proceeds for a certain time. Just a reminder to everyone, the offshore feeder was structured through the blocker entity. The blocker entity is a corporation for U.S. tax purposes, which pays tax in the U.S. at a federal, state, and city level. That helps to mitigate any U.S. tax filing requirements for our investors. The blocker was also capitalized with debt and equity that allows us to use interest accrued to mitigate some of the tax obligations in the U.S. I think with that update, I would just turn it over to for Q&A. That's really the update on my side. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff and Naveen. So we'll open it up now for questions. Really, the point of this call is to offer everybody the chance to ask questions in specific detail about the notices they've seen or give any feedback that they've received from clients. And also in the future, if you need any assistance explaining this to clients, my team, Jeff, Naveen, will all make themselves available to do what we can to make sure everybody understands this issue, and that the issue, of course, was contemplated at the outset and disclosed to potential investors. So
Thank you. If you would like
we'll
to
take questions. Thanks.
Thank you. If you would like to ask a question at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Please ensure that the mute function on your telephone is switched off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. Again, please press star 1 to ask a question. We will now take the first question from Ever Zambrano. Please go ahead.
Hi, Ever.
Hi, Jeff, Joel, Naveen. Thanks for the call. Can you please clarify again, where are we in terms of units sold, closed, and pending to be sold?
Sure, Ever. Let me run through that. So of the 106 residential units, 69 units are either closed or pre-sold. Of those 69 units, only 8 are pending closing. So essentially, it's 69 of 106. And then in addition to that, there are 2 contracts out as well. So that leaves roughly about 25 units remaining if those 2 contracts that are out pending close as well.
Do the developer have any particular strategy for these units, or they're just planning to leave them as they are at the current market price?
Sure. So they're working with potential purchasers to try and maximize, obviously, profit and move the remaining units in a methodical manner. We're in discussions with CIM right now just to walk through their ultimate strategy on this. I think first things first is to work through the remaining units that are pending closing, and then in addition to that, to continue discussions and outreach for the remaining units. So we don't have an estimated time yet on when we think the remaining units will be sold, but it's something that we're going to be working with CIM on, and we have over the past few weeks heavily to come up with a new timetable on when we think the remaining units will be sold.
Thank you.
Thank you. As a reminder, to ask a question at this time, please press star 1. There are currently no further questions in the queue at this time.
Okay. If we have no further questions, then I think we can wrap it up and just let everybody know that you can reach out to my team to coordinate with Jeff and Naveen to get any questions answered later if you feel like you have still outstanding questions. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
That will conclude today's conference call. Thank you for your participation, ladies and gentlemen. You may now disconnect.